Hey everyone, this is kind of like a different style of stream for me. It's just gonna be a short one with a reaction and discussion about the latest Pokemon Direct that came out August 18th, 2021. I kind of just wanted to do this as a bit of a creative outlet. I've been feeling pretty down lately, and in the UK there was a famous comedian called Sean Locke who died today from cancer, so that I just kind of wanted to do something different today to try and just have a creative outlet and try and do something purposeful with my time that I've given myself today. In terms of Pokemon, like I've been playing a long time. I have played since Gen 1 and played every gen through that, so I hope that I can give kind of a bit of an insight and maybe notice things to make the whole thing more engaging. So I'm actually going to be skipping a couple of minutes in, just because of these first sort of nearly 6 minutes covered in the mobile games. In terms of the Pokemon mobile games, Unite I haven't played. I don't enjoy MOBAs, and I'm sort of so out of the mobile sphere that when they said you can get like login bonuses and gems if you play after the direct today or by a certain date, I had no idea what those gems meant, if that was a good number, a bad number, or what. The Pokemon Cafe remix looks actually really cute. I forgot that Cafe existed, so I'm actually looking forward to trying Cafe out, which comes out September, I think it was. In terms of Masters, I just can't be bothered. Haven't played any Masters. I've heard that it is fun and the voice acting is really good for the game. And then finally with Pokemon Go, I stopped playing Pokemon Go a while ago now, just because during COVID it was sort of just impossible to play, and the release of content was just too slow for my liking, and it kind of just became a drag for me to play. So yeah, we're gonna go into the rest of the direct now, and I will give my sort of reactions there, and then also do some discussions on things that I noticed throughout. Okay, let's begin. I'm gonna turn this down a bit. That's actually very cute with the little starter interactions. I enjoy that that's also kind of referencing Turtwig's weight, because Torterra is a very heavy Pokemon, which is kind of cool. Oh gosh, that menu is, gosh, those text boxes are very nostalgic. That looks noticeably better from the first trailer, actually. It's cool. Noticeably better. Oh, hey, Four Gathered, thank you for the follow. Okay, the oval definitely looks better, but I'm not sure if... I'm not sure on the overworld character models. In-game looks a lot better. Sorry, in battle looks a lot better than before as well. Oh, were they the capsules from back in the day? Or the used to be able to put those on your Pokeballs for battle effects. Which is very cool. Contests seem to be back. I wonder if there's an element of dressing up your Mon, like there was in the Gen 4 contest, or if it's sort of just more the dancing things. The Underground's back. Nice. Gosh, that's nostalgic. Very nostalgic. Seems to be different areas on a Munchlax, okay. Munchlax is very difficult to get in the original Gen 4 game, so I wonder if this is a way of making it easier for you to capture him. These remixes are really good. Wow. Field looks interesting. Oh boy. I think Pokemon are Wolf-Glick fans. I'll come back to that. That was pretty funny. All will end and everything will begin. This will be high-res shots. What are they? It's going to be going into the cover art, I guess, for the game boxes. Yes. Oh, we have a release date. November 19th, 2021. Cool. Very cool. I do actually like those, the box art. I prefer that to the Sword and Shield ones.
Is now just 3 months away. Let's review the main points of these revitalized games.
Gosh, showing me all these screenshots from the original games. Yeah, the overall definitely looks a lot better, but the overall character models look a lot like Playmobil to me, or like sort of like Duplo, kind of just like childish Lego kind of thing. I still not sure if I can get over that. Okay, look at the menus. But the actual in battle stuff looks really good. Oh, I like that a lot. Like, if I remember correctly, Gen 4 was the first gen to change the boxes that the moves are in, depending on the type. So the color of the box, for example, if it's like a water type move, it would be blue. I think Gen 4 was the first to introduce that, which is neat that they've carried that on. Professor Rowan looks good. Okay.
One of the gym leaders you'll take on during your journey.
Yeah, Chibi Rourke doesn't do it for me, but that art looks good.
Look, Team Galactic is up to something. There appears to be some sort of lofty goal behind all their
I'm not sure how I do like that Galactic background for the Team Galactic battles. I do prefer it where where the background for the battles demonstrates the area that you're in. So if you're at the Valley Wind Works, you know, I'd like it to look like that, rather than just a purple galaxy.
In the Grand Underground, you can participate in a number of activities, such as digging up
The Grand Underground, so I think, is it just going to be underground, but they introduce more features, i.e. that various zones? Yes.
Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl. Apparently, the Pokemon that appear in the Pokemon hideaways will change depending on which statues you have placed in your secret
Oh, it's
base.
to do with statues with secret base.
Some of the Pokemon
Interesting.
in the Sinnoh region can only be found in this place. So be sure to fully explore the Grand Underground spread out beneath.
Okay, yeah, so hopefully that will be used for things like Munchlax and stuff, which had a... You had to use like the honey trees, and it was a ridiculous like 1% chance thing. It was a nightmare for Dex completion. Yes, this is like the capsules from Gen 4. That's really nice.
Along your journey and decorating with them, you can make your Pokemon battles even more fun.
I really like that. That's coming back.
Feature that was not available in Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl is the ability to change
okay.
outfit. Wear your favorite
But interestingly, that was style and not individual customization. So I wonder if you can only change you can change outfits rather than individual items of clothing, which Still nice that we get the customization, but why go back on a system that we've had now for a couple of gens and just have an outfit change?
This release allows you to use not only
That's nice that the Union Room is returning.
also online communication to interact with trainers all over the world in real time. Please enjoy battles and Pokemon trades with many other trainers.
Okay, that's interesting.
You can walk around with any of the Pokemon that appear in these games.
That's great.
Your journey through Sinnoh together
Oh,
with
Tangrowth is
partner
huge.
Pokemon.
Oh, Weasel's cute. That's just a really nice feature. Just happy that's
With
back.
all kinds of people and Pokemon and the mystery behind
A
Sinnoh's
chibi Cynthia as well. That is, no.
We hope you look forward to starting an exciting adventure with new gameplay features. In
Okay,
the
that
region.
Lantern using Waterfall, being a water electric type. You're showing it using a physical water move or Lantern.
Please wait just a bit longer for the start of your adventure.
Okay, so November
That's not
19th.
all.
Interesting.
Nintendo Switch Lite Dialga and Palkia Edition will
Ah,
also be released to celebrate
is it only Switch Lite like you did with Sword and Shield?
This special Nintendo Switch Lite
Looks to be,
represents
yes.
the art of the legendary Pokemon Dialga and Palkia.
I do like that art, but
Special Nintendo
it's like with the Zacian Zamazenta one where it's just,
that was
it was just a separate Switch with just some art on the back, so I don't think I'll be bothering with this.
will be available to purchase beginning November 5th, 2000.
Also to note for any people who don't know, the Pokemon limited edition consoles do not come with the game.
Pokemon Legends Arceus
So
game.
you do have to still buy that separately. You are just getting the console. That's been a thing for a while. Oh, okay, so now we're on to Legends Arceus. Interesting. I actually really enjoy the selection of starters. The fact that it's Cyndaquil kind of becomes sort of like a melee kind of thing. Obviously, Rowlet will eventually become like an archer, and Oshawott the samurai, the warrior. Okay, so graphically not noticing too many things differently from the first trailer, but new areas, new color schemes, which is always great to see. Over Ponyta, Gastrodon, Shellos. Oh, that is Stantler evolution or regional form possibly. That's definitely Stantler, not a Thorsbuck form. Ah, they're showing the village now. Okay. And we actually have NPCs, which before in the previous trailer, though, I don't think there were any NPCs. So that's really good to see, because I just thought it was going to be an empty place. Okay. Interesting. So there's a lot of sneaking. Menu's interesting. So is that like a Safari Zone thing? So maybe minus is your party, up is, or Growlithe, new form, I guess. Whatever this region is. Ye Old Sinnoh. Yeah, it seemed to be as like an up arrow to show like berries and balls, so maybe like cycling through them like you would in like a Safari Zone kind of thing. I'm not sure on the final one. Maybe Pokedex. Oh, Braviary form. That looks really good. I mean... Oh, is that a Basculin form? Interesting. That looks sick. Oh! And riding on the Stantler form. Wow. So it is very... They're unapologetically going Breath of the Wild. You're going to be able to ride a quote-unquote horse. You'll be able to glide and travel across water. Okay. I think this is also going a bit Breath of the Wild with some event causing things within the wild to... That Earthstring just wave dashed? Just slid over. Okay, you can see more of the battles. Cool. But yeah, it seems just maybe kind of like with the Shadowmon, there's just an event that makes them go crazy, and you have to capture them and then treat them for whatever element they have. That Growlithe design, I really like the Growlithe. Interesting. Okay. Oh, Probopass. Cool. Lots of Mon shown throughout that segment, and it seemed to cycle through a lot of gens, which is nice to see. Didn't seem to be too much of a bias apart from Gen 4 for obvious reasons. Okay. A nice sort of semi-anime cutscene. And into the box art, which looks really good. Okay, that looks very clean. I like that a lot. Confirm January 28th.
That was the latest trailer for Pokemon Legends Arceus. Let's take a closer look at some of the elements introduced in the video.
Yes, please. Okay.
Pokemon Legends Arceus is a brand new title that opens new doors for
It's Rosemary Kelly. Is she back doing the voiceover?
RPG elements.
That's really good. I'm glad that she's able to do more things. Hisui region. Okay, that map looks really nice. Very much Sinnoh with Mount Coronet in the middle. Yeah.
With sprawling, diverse, natural environments surrounding the mountain on all sides. These different areas
It very much looks to be like Pangea Sinnoh, just with everything congregated around the main Mount Coronet. I'm so happy that we're able to see more of the hub area though. And it's even called Jubilife, okay. Oh, I like the water mills. That's cool.
It's home to the Galaxy Expedition Team, made up of people from various other regions.
Interesting, okay.
Such as the Medical Corps,
There was a Galarian wheezing as a motif on the outside of the building there as a chimney. Interesting.
Professor Laventon's field of study is the ecology of Pokemon. He came to the
I like his design already.
Pokemon he met in various other regions. He
Okay.
one of these Pokemon to you.
Interesting.
Captain Silene is the leader of the Survey Corps. Though she may seem to treat you harshly,
I do like the Cyrus motifs for Silene.
watches over your progress with
That's really
care.
cool.
Commander Kamado oversees the entire Galaxy team. He's a dependable leader who has earned the unwavering trust of his team members. When the commander recognizes your knack for Pokemon research, he allows you to join the team and has you work as a member of the Survey Corps.
He does also look very similar to the Rowan that we saw from
The duty of the Survey Corps is
BDSP.
to observe and catch Pokemon to shed light on how they live. Your survey duties hold the key to unlocking the true purpose of your adventure, and in the course of your work, you'll visit various locations within the Hisui region.
Okay, that's a very condensed
Your
map.
excursions outside the village will be
Definitely.
preparing at a base camp. At these camps, you'll be able to prepare for your survey work by buying items or crafting new ones from basic materials.
Oh, interesting. So we get like an acorn mechanic, but rather than giving it to Kurt, whatever, we make them ourselves.
Take too much damage from their attacks and you'll black out. So use caution when you're out doing your survey work.
Okay.
When your Pokemon are hurt, you can return to a base camp to rest up and recover.
The Hisuian Dawn was not interacting with that grass at all, so I'm assuming this is still a very early build.
Pokemon live all over the place. Get close to them and aim carefully, then throw a Pokeball.
A lot of the areas do look very pretty though. It is nice to see.
Not all species of Pokemon react the same way when they spot you. For example, some Pokemon will immediately flee, so you'll want to hide in tall grass when you approach them.
Okay, this
Aggressive
hopefully
Pokemon, on the other hand, may
sort of
need to be
confirms what I was saying about the safari things, where maybe there are
catching them all.
various ways where someone might need to battle, some you just have to throw a Pokeball from afar,
Throw a Pokeball
or some you have
your
to
own Pokemon
like maybe use
will
berries to
run and
entice.
battle will begin.
Okay.
You'll find that a single
Oh,
Pokemon may get to act
interesting.
multiple times in a row, depending on its speed
An
and
action bar.
moves that it uses. You can also choose to have Pokemon use their moves in two different styles: strong
Right.
style and agile style. Using
Oh,
The strong
okay.
style will increase the move's power, but the Pokemon's action
So that,
speed
I
will
wonder
be
if that's
lowered.
um
Using a move in the agile style will decrease the move's power, but the Pokemon's action speed will be
that's
raised.
interesting how you can change the action bar in real time
When you see a chance
depending
to
on which
use
style you
only one
choose.
powerful move. While the agile style is great for situations where acting multiple times in a row will give your battle strategy a real boost. Use these different styles as the
Interesting.
commands to gain
That seems
power
very
and
strong if you can use agile style to essentially give yourself priority on a boosting move, and then switch to strong style to just get a very clean Oko from the powered up move whilst in the strong style. I wonder how they've balanced that, if they have at all. That's very much like a more in-depth, like a Monster Hunter kind of thing, which seemed to show how many times you've seen it, the food that it likes, and maybe like various ways that you can catch it. Nice, okay.
This Pokemon with distinctive antlers is known as
Word.
Weird
Weirdia.
evolves from a Stantler that has managed to live in the harsh natural environment of the Hisui region. It has strong ties with the local
I really
people,
like
and it has
that
been
design,
treated with
and
great care and
it's nice that
respect in
Stantler,
its
of all
life in
things,
ancient times.
it seems that with if it is a Basculin former evolution, that again some of the mono evolution mons that are very lackluster are.
This Pokemon is Basculegion.
Okay, confirmed. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that these mono evolution mons are getting some love.
Evolve into this Pokemon. If they become possessed by the restless souls of other Basculin in their school,
That design is
their strength will be
amazing.
upstream.
Wow.
This Pokemon gains
I really
power from
like
souls
that.
possessing it, letting it swim on and on without tiring. There are also Pokemon that can be found living in this land in forms that have adapted to the environment.
Okay, yeah,
of
so
the
these will be
Hisui region.
regional
This
forms.
Pokemon with its great majestic wings is the Hisuian form of Braviary.
Love that bravery.
It
That's
lives
really
in
cool.
in the winter and can imbue its screeches with psychic power to generate
Oh,
shockwaves.
psychic flying is interesting type.
This Pokemon, which works with a partner, is the Hisuian form of Growlithe. It is a very wary Pokemon and appears to protect its territory.
I love him.
Hisuian Growlithe's soft fur is an excellent insulator, allowing it to stay active and lively even in this chilly land. The horn on its head is made of rock, but it breaks easily.
Oh.
So Hisuian
I don't know if that will be a
Growlithe
rock
when it'll have the
fighting
biggest
type or just
effect.
maybe gain a couple of different moves.
The Pokemon Arceus holds the key to this story. But
That's
what
interesting.
emotions
I'd love to
does
see
Arceus
the
hold?
Arcanine form of that as well.
We hope you look forward to finding out on the day when you can finally meet the people and Pokemon of the Hisui region for yourself.
That looks a lot more promising, actually. I mean,
Those were our latest updates on these new
Okay.
entries in the Pokemon series. Pre-orders for Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and Pokemon Shining Pearl will become available on Nintendo eShop after this broadcast. We'd also like to announce that support for these titles is planned to come to Pokemon Home.
interesting. Okay.
Nintendo Switch and compatible mobile devices in 2022.
In 2022, though. I mean, that's when Arceus comes out, so understandable. I do love the home theme, though.
Ranked battles that so many of you
Oh.
continue to enjoy. These will take place as before in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Oh,
You all have fun participating in even
That's
more competitive play in the future.
interesting. Okay.
Those are all the latest updates we can share with you today. We hope you're looking forward to all the
Yeah,
exciting
that's
adventures to
ooh.
come.
Definitely gonna talk about that then.
Thank you all for tuning in and watching.
Really like his shirt, though. That's very cool. Okay, interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute this and a couple of talking points with BDSP, not too much. Mainly just on how pretty I think the game looks. I think the game looks really nice. A definite big improvement from what we had before. I love that they've just outright confirmed that all Mon will be following you and it's not tied down to certain areas or to certain Mon as we've had in previous games. A nice feature. Union Room is returning. Contests are returning. The Underground is returning and seems to be not just for like money making, for finding the stones that you may need, like your evolution stones, but also seems to be a way to catch rarer Pokemon. So hopefully, as I said with the Munchlax, that yeah, hopefully with the Munchlax, this make things a lot easier. Because I was saying before, it very much was like a 1% chance from a honey tree, which you weren't guaranteed to get anything, let alone the Munchlax anyway, and they're only set amount of trees and set times that you could do it, because you had to wait real life hours. You couldn't skip the clock. It was a nightmare trying to complete the decks just with Munchlax alone. So that's interesting. In terms of just in-game stuff, it looks solid. Again, I love this motif of the galaxy, but I'm not sure if I would like it all the time. I think I might overstay its welcome, particularly with some of the more memorable fights like at the Valley Windworks, where I'd rather have it just in that setting, or just a typical like Pokemon office setting. That would suit me much more. I think that's really it that I sort of wanted to cover. Cyrus looks great. I love that he definitely has a more detailed background. Obviously, he's the leader of Team Galactic. And it's interesting what they're going to be doing with these games. In terms of whether these will be direct sequels to Diamond and Pearl, a la Aurus with Ruby and Sapphire, or whether it will take elements from Platinum. Because I think that's one of my biggest fears for these games, and why I find Aurus to be very lazy remakes, even though they did make a lot of improvements and changes in other aspects, in that the issues and faults that were already in the game that were then addressed or possibly even fixed within the next game of the generation. So for Ruby Sapphire it was Emerald, for Diamond and Pearl it was Platinum. Those fixes were made null and void because you didn't remake the completed version, you remade the originals. So I'm just wondering whether these remakes will have the same issues that the originals did, particularly in terms of the general slow pace of the text, the battles, but also post-game in terms of Battle Frontier and all the things with Cyrus and going to the distortion world and things. Yeah, I think that's my main gripe with these, is that if they do end up becoming the sort of faithful to the originals too much, and that they keep the gripes, and I feel like you could still make 2 games of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but have it based off of Platinum, and then just have separate Pokedex entries and things, for your trades to sort of justify releasing the 2 games. Showing these screenshots is bad, because man, this is very nostalgic. I really, really liked Gen 4. The artwork and the sprite work was fantastic. I do think that's really what... Oh, okay, this. I can't take this seriously. That's... Cynthia was one of those ones that sort of never my champion anyway. I think she's a fantastic champion. However, I find that a lot of people, the difficulty with Cynthia was her Gen 5 appearance and not the Gen 4 one. I still think she's a fantastic champion, has fantastic music, just looks great, just everything about her is really, really good. And then just seeing her in this form, in this sort of weird chibi form with wide stubby legs, and no, not sure about that. I'm really not sure about that. Anyway, on to Legends Arceus. These three are interesting. I like these a lot. I think these are really interesting starters to go for a old Hoenn region old Sinnoh region who has people and Pokemon from various other regions that then probably with the split of the Sinnoh region, or whether we actually get to understand this or not, they will then go back to what is their native region. So I enjoy this as it kind of gives that sort of RPG vibe that we had from the Gen 6 starters, where you have like the archer, you have the warrior or like swordmaster, and then you'd have like a melee, like a monk or something. Kind of like that. It may not be that, but I just getting those vibes from this. Again, in terms of overworld, looks okay, nothing crazy at the moment, but I think the fact that a lot of things aren't interacting with grass, such as like the player character, I still think this is an early build, which is promising because I really enjoy the colors and the different environments that we're seeing at the moment. That's a very fun motif of having the Clefairy and the moon. That's very smart. Well done. I think Stantler, new form, I really like that. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. Back in this, it said about strong Pokemon, and then it showed Leafeon. It was like powerful Pokemon from all over, and it said Leafeon. That's where I sort of saw this thing about Wolfglick and had a chuckle to myself. I'll try and find it quickly. All over the arena Pokemon. God, that Piplup is adorable. Oh. Might have been at the end sprawl. I wasn't paying attention as to where it was. Bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. Move across to here. If I can't find it quickly, I'll just move on to my other thoughts on Arceus. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway. Battles look good. Interesting here. So I'll just quickly go over like the UI things I wanted to talk about. It looks like that is to cycle through the Pokeballs on the right hand side. So X would just be cycling through the mon that you have available. Obviously Vulpix is grayed out, I guess, because it's being sent out. On the left you have these minus up and down. I presume minus is your party. Maybe for status ailments, whatever, you can heal them. Up seems to be like berries, Pokeballs, and possibly like some form of ID. So I guess that would be using, like I was saying, Safari's own tactics of using like a berry to attract them onto you, or just using a Pokeball either to try and catch it outright, where if it's something that would run away from you regardless, or whatever. And then the down arrow, I assume, is the Pokedex or some sort of like field notes, where you can then take note of things seen, what they like, what they dislike, best ways to catch them, that kind of thing. General effects look really interesting, which I like as well. And I do enjoy target system for the Pokeball. I think that's just very fun. We actually get to target and aim, and I'm sure there'll be some people, you know, trying to throw their Pokeball off a cliff, whatever. But it looks interesting, and it's visually appealing, which I really enjoy. Pokeball effect is interesting when it releases this. So we have, I'm not sure what this triangle is over here. So we have obviously the moves, the PP, the type along the edge, which I think is super clean, super minimal. I'm enjoying that in BDSP it's just like the full block as a reference to the original games. Here, much more clean and minimal, just with the type art and the color scheme. Obviously, we now know that you're changing your style, so from agile to strong, I believe it was. Interestingly, we have this plus and Y. I'm assuming this is just the UI element, so plus would zoom in on the battle, and Y would be to show the action bar, so the turn order. These triangles, I'm not sure what that means. Possibly could there be combination moves? Question mark. Obviously, we saw the combination within the trailer of the Lucario using agile style, calm mind, and then a aura sphere, which makes sense. You boost your special attack, then your aura sphere is stronger. That kind of just seems like it's priority. Give yourself a boost going into the attack. But possibly with this, could it mean that you, similar to the pledge moves or round, where if you're using agile style and you're able to combine two moves together, would they be able to combine? That would be interesting. That would just be another new dynamic on the combat, which could be cool. Battle animations are decent. Pokeball effects are kind of like very, very basic. I'm liking the steampunk aesthetics to this, like how there's a bit of steam coming from the ball, and then like almost like a tiny firecracker when you catch the mon, rather than the sparkles and the sort of the mechanical tick that we get nowadays. So this is interesting how things are set up as a camp. What I'm assuming the gameplay loop of the game is that you start off within the hub world, which is the Jubilife town, and then you'll unlock areas of the map. Once you go to these areas, you'll have these camps, which will have NPCs where you can buy things. You know, the professor of the region, possibly other NPCs that we haven't fully met yet. And they will give us our main objectives. And once we complete an area of the map, we then go back to the Jubilife, possibly do some things there, and then rinse and repeat. Logo-wise, this is interesting. Obviously, being related to Galactic. Kind of cool. I'm not sure if it means anything or just a reference, but I do like the idea for this. Being able to see ruins and just varying, and just seeing verticality in Pokemon games is cool. I think that's one of my biggest gripes about Sword and Shield, is that there was no explanation or exploration. There was no real like side routes or things that you could go and explore. It was just, here's your tunnel that you go through. Here's the wild area. Have a look at this, but at the end of the day, it's quite an empty space. Whereas this, again, probably could just be an empty space, but just having these more dense areas and things like ruins and steps that will naturally take you up paths. It's cool. That's interesting. Can't tell if that's like meant to be a building or just some sort of ice rock for a legendary or some form of event. But again, well, they just dove off the cliff. I didn't expect that. So maybe a la Zelda, Twilight Princess, there'll be some sort of like snowboarding minigame, or there'll be varying mounts for the thing. So we saw Stantler, and in the spiel that Rosemary gave, we saw that, we heard that it's got really thick fur. revered from the people of the region. Maybe it might just be that we get that mount, or maybe kind of mean like a snowboarding mechanic or some form of other thing. That's just kind of fun. The Bravey's very, very... Just having a glider now in game seems to be this new thing. The Basculin evolution, gosh, that looks incredible. I actually can't believe how cool this looks. I adore the sort of the Asian-inspired design. We have like the flames on the back and the swirls, creating a swirl, but also a potential cloud effect with the lightning bolt mustache, and just the hard, angular Basculin face that it's from the original design. I think it just looks very cool. Definitely enjoy this. Yes, here's a Stantler being used in Mount. Okay, Stantler is used in, seems to be all of the locales that they've shown. So yeah, it might just be that it is just Stantler that you can use to ride around the area. This is interesting. So we have some sort of portal and a crack in the sky. We have literal RGB with a can't tell if it's meant to be a blue or like white lightning coming down. That's interesting. The fact that it is those colors in particular. That's an interesting detail, just saying that the professor is saying that Pokemon are terrifying creatures. Wonder if this is sort of like a frequent event that happens. And it's sort of up, and that's actually why we are sent out as trainers to fulfill the Pokedex and create these field notes, because people are too scared to do it due to this sort of freak event that happens that makes the Pokemon very aggressive kind of thing. I just wanted to show this because look, yes, okay, there we go. So that red icon before Luxray's name, is that indicate, obviously that's indicating whatever this element is, whether it's sort of like a shadow, an aggressive thing, like we've had in previous Pokemon games. But it seems to be, I'm not sure if you have to defeat these, or maybe you can capture them, and then either you get essentially what would be like a Shadowmon, where it's more powerful, its attacks are more powerful, but it's like a glass cannon, or before you can use it, you have to treat it either maybe with like a Pokemon camp style system, just to make it friendlier towards you, or with berries or whatever. But cool that it does have this icon, and then you get the icon here with the name, and you get obviously the glowing eyes and things. That's very cool. Showing off the styles, which interesting. Let's see, lots and lots of Mon. I don't think I need to do a breakdown of the Mon. There seems to be a lot. I'll do a quick thing, but I'm sure the PokeTubers will have done this. So we've got Gyarados, Ursaring, Baneri, Luxray, Weasel, and Beautyfly, which is cool. Regional Growlithe, Lucario, Regional Bravery, Tentacool, the Basculin evolution, Rowlet, Drapion, Garchomp. That looks amazing. That's interesting. Is that possibly with these aggressive Mon, they will just... It did say that if you took enough damage, you'd be sent back to presumably the camp and not the Jubilife town. But just cool to see that again. Aggressive Mon will just come and attack you, and you have to utilize dodge roll and possibly like other techniques that you learn within the field, which is a really interesting idea. Gosh, there's a lot going on there. Let's try and pause with what we've got. Let's go here. Cyndaquil against a Wurmple. Seems a bit unfair. You've got an angry Probopass with some things in the background. Nosepass and something behind the tree. Oh, Honchkrow and a Carnivine. Cool. Magneton and an Apom. Eevee using Swift, looks like Mr. Mime. Machoke is like a using Focus Energy, possibly. I think that was Perugly and something. Magmortar and Tangrowth. Tangrowth looks cursed with those eyes. Oh my goodness, that is freaky. Lots of Bronzong. Bronzor there. I think that was just Snover and Abominus Snow. Here we have Piplup. Is that a wild Piplup? Or is that... Which is interesting. Considering Piplup's one of the starters. And then we have Spheal and a Celio. Interestingly enough, I just want to do a quick comment on this. In terms of draw distance, one of my least favorite things about the wild area is if the draw distance from the game is very slow. Or very bad, I should say. So you will have a lot of pop-ins of Mon popping in, geographical features popping in, and it can be as bad as, particularly with the wild area, because rather than having dynamic weather, the weather changes with the zone. So I presume how it's coded is that the weather effects will also load in as you're walking, and so sometimes between it loading and the weather effects, the geographical things, and the Pokemon, that you could have Pokemon spawn on top of you. You can just, be riding your bike and you'll just hit something because it's literally just popping into existence right in front of you. Interesting to see that we actually have a Spheal right over here. So hopefully that means that the draw distance will be vastly improved, or just at least a little bit improved, because that is one of my biggest gripes about Sword and Shield, for sure. Munchlax and Bidoof. Just the gods of the Pokemon universe. Very, very strong. I like this art style change, and I hope we get maybe clips of this. Very interesting. This just looks to be Pangea Sinnoh to me, where everything is much more connected. It seems that we have... Interestingly enough, it seems that we have tribes, which excites me. So it seems that this will be Jubilife, I would presume. That looks to be the sort of the northwest. That seems to be the structure that we saw when the trainer was diving and then going into the glide from the Braviary. There then seems to be a different tribe, and then possibly like their main town city area over here, which is cool. So it seems to be there'll be geographical landmarks along with other landmarks on actual man-made structures. We have someone on a gondola style boat here. I'm not sure what that means. If that means if sort of that's just trying to show that it is connected to other regions, as it was said in the trailer that the actual professor and some of the other characters are from other regions. So maybe that's just addressing that, or maybe there will be some sort of functionality for us to travel across the water or go to maybe surrounding islands. It seems we have just sort of like, it looks to just be children playing here, so that might just be like the first area, being like a nice plain simple area. People by the river who look to be collecting crops and things, and again just more people along to the east. Looks to be a miner. They seem to have like a pickaxe kind of thing. It looks like they're mining, so it's just kind of interesting to just have that representation of, you've got people like foraging, you've got people tending to the land, people sort of just surviving up in the cold, people on gondolas, possibly providing like a transport service. Then you have someone actually like mining the ground for resources, and then you just seem to have a camp and two people there. So in terms of the map, I think it looks very cool. You've also got this separate island up here. It seems that in terms of actual separate civilizations, there may just be Jubilife and this one up here, but there will be people throughout the world of Hisui, I'm going to be calling it. I'm not sure if that was correct or not, but that's what I'll say. And it seems to be separated into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate zones. I can't tell if they're actually proper Japanese or sort of some combination of like a kanji with a Pokemon language. There seems to be that is like Jubilife for your hub world. That would be like the snowy area, the meadow area, mountainous area, some form of marshland, and then cove, or maybe sort of implying that this is sort of an area a beach area that which then has some things that connect you to this island from afar. But the map is definitely interesting. In terms of the village, it's just still very basic, but just the fact that they're actually showing NPCs is cool. Obviously this is like the main hub of where you get everything done, where you get your missions and such. It's just cool that it has Galarian wheezing chimneys and then the Magikarp statues on the roof. I think that's all I really wanted to say about the village. Because I think we literally sort of got this before and like the main street, and there was 0 NPCs, possibly 1 or 2. It looked very empty, so just seeing that we are actually getting more things is cool. I like the new professor. He looks interesting. And Cyril, I think her name was, the obvious sort of Cyrus styled character. Not sure if that's sort of meant to be a big hint as to her alliance, whether she's sort of actually evil within this world, but it's difficult to say without sort of knowing the actual story behind it, apart from it seems to be a Breath of the Wild inspired Pokemon game. Oh, Silene. Apologies, Silene. Look at the map. Yeah, similar to what I was saying. So the map seems to sort of show that that's the area to the north. That'll be where the that's the snow area. That seems to be like the meadow area. Then you go through, you got like more mountainous stuff here, and you got possible like marshland, and then this final area. And also, interestingly enough, where the separate island was, sorry, no, that's just a cloud. Where the separate island is seems to be here with the smoke coming out. Interesting that they do show that within this map. So wonder if we will be able to go to that. Camps, I don't think there's much to say about this in terms of you can buy base Pokeballs, and then it seems to be a scavenger system where with acorns and other items you can then create your own Pokeballs. Whether they're showing this with a heavy ball is cool. Then obviously that would be your mainstay, your 8 balls and such. It's interesting if they introduce any new types of Pokeballs or if it's just a limited selection. But again, we'll just have to find out. Sorry, what I did also want to say, in terms of actual UI, this is really handy. So I think what this means, this shows you have this in your bag, sort of on you, and I guess this is like a storage box at the camp. And then you can just craft up to, like similar to Monster Hunter, where it would be you have a bag, a box, and then you can craft the things. And it will just give you in real time how many, the number of items that you have left within your bag and or within your box when you're crafting, which is really, really nice, really handy. Cool, we have a dodge roll. I don't know if there'll be like any actual invincibility mechanic for the roll, or it's just meant to be sort of here. The character is not interacting with the grass at all. So I'm hoping this is still a very early build, and things will be improved upon for the final release of the game. You can see here they're just walking straight through. And nothing else really to say here, just I guess it's called confirming genders in Mon. So whether there will be a breeding system is interesting. Going back to camp. Again, seems to be just a Monster Hunter style thing, where you sort of heal up and such, and you can do a lot of things at the camp. I covered this really, just interesting. Yes, it seems to be does seem that Y is the action order or action list, and sort of just you can toggle viewing it with Y or not. It's cool. Right, let's see if we can. Times you've seen it use quick attack. I've seen it use bite. Okay, so this definitely seems to be the research journal that I was alluding to. It just seems to be like our arbitrary task at this point. I'm not sure what these symbols mean, or there might be different things. So this is number caught, number defeated, actual things that you've seen them do, and then maybe this will be to do with other items or other aspects of the game that we don't know about yet. Kind of just seems to be that this is things that you've got ticked off. That's caught mon and seen mon possibly. So, apart from that, can't really tell. You also have a research level, which is very similar to Monster Hunter, in that the higher the research level with Monster Hunter, the more aspects you learn about the monster. So like the higher the research level, it gives you perks such as being able to find the monster quicker, or your, particularly in World, your scout flies, they would, essentially what you'd have to do is you'd have to track them, and then after a while the scout flies would get the scent or whatever, and then they would guide you to where the monster was, whereas if you had a higher research level, they'd just be able to do that instantly. So maybe a thing like that, where maybe if there are tasks for certain mon, once you have a high enough research level, you can just go out into the wild and you maybe get a marker and say this is exactly where Shinx is. Now you can finish off, any potential tasks that you have for Shinx. I think what this is indicating, where it's changing to this, is the color was changing. So I'm presuming that either chronologically, either maybe just checking at different times of the day, maybe like a dawn, day, dusk kind of thing, or it could be areas within the game. So depending upon the area, obviously the Pokedex will be different. You can see it's sort of gone to a blue here, whereas it's purple and sort of orangey before. Exactly what I said about preferred foods. That's very cool that shows you. Also, that mushroom looks like a centret. That's very cute. Research level 10 complete. Okay, so it seems to be that 10 is the complete level. That's interesting. And then this seems to be your basic Pokedex forms would be male, female, and then possibly, shinies or whatever. I don't think there are confirmed shinies in this game. You'd assume that there was, but it isn't confirmed, so yeah. And then these seem to be filled out as well, maybe implying that they have been caught and there is a research level compared to, again, I guess if they were grayed out, maybe that the mon has just been seen, but you haven't battled them or caught them. Carry on with your excursion. Yeah, I think it just seems to be I've sort of spoken about these. I think that might be everything. Really. Nothing else is popping to mind, I must admit. So yeah, I think it's time to talk about the big thing for me. This home support coming in 2022. and then the VGC stuff. Right, onto the VGC stuff. I'm gonna just let this play out and we'll pause it at that text box. Okay, I think this will be a controversial issue. Or not controversial per se, but this will be a very big issue for VGC players, and a lot of other people won't see the issue with it. And this is going into VGC, or I should say, for people who don't know, the competitive battle side of Pokemon. This is like very specific issues to this, so I'm gonna try and sort of break this down. But if I can't, then I apologize. Here we go. So VGC will have formats, and these formats are then broken down into series. So currently, you could say that the format that we're in is Generation 8, because we are using the Sword and Shield games, and then series will change the rule sets. Typically, there aren't that many series per format. However, with Generation 8, they have actually changed it. So currently we are on Series 10, which is sort of unheard of, which again is sort of a mixed thing in and of itself, because typically series will last a year, possibly longer. But series currently only seem to last a couple of months. And so it's an interesting thing currently where the meta, either people don't think it's developed enough, or it very quickly falls onto certain strategies because they are the ones found early, and so they just become the tried and tested because there isn't enough time to try and innovate and find something that's better. What this means, though, is that as of November 2021 and January in 2022, the format for competitive battles will still be with Sword and Shield. However, a lot of the player base will have moved on to the newer games. There will still be an aspect of competitive battling, as we saw that there will be like the Union Room within Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. However, it will probably just be a casual ladder rather than a ranked ladder, meaning that all tournaments, like your regionals, your locals, worlds, will still be with Sword and Shield and not Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, or Legends Arceus. Why is this an issue? This is an issue because it provides a barrier of entry to newer players who they may have got Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. They then see, Aaron Zeng, Wolf Glick, That's a +1, Moxie boosted, etc., etc., playing competitive, and they can't get into it because they have the wrong game. Secondly, it means that just general participation within competitive is less, meaning less innovation, less fun team building. And it also means that there's less participation overall in terms of just people actually going to events. And so I'm not 100% sure on this because I've only ever been to locals because regionals were just too expensive for me to go to. However, I believe that regionals will give their CP, which is like a point system where through going to events you earn enough points and you can get to worlds, and prize pools are determined by the number of participants. So by having less participants, it becomes more difficult to get your CP and or prize pools, but also those things may become lesser, like particularly the prize pools. There might just be less money overall, which makes it difficult for the players who really want to push going to events and try and get to worlds, or larger events, or or just go in general to make to have friends. To have fun, make friends, etc. It just becomes a very expensive thing. This has happened before, particularly with the previous format that we've just had. So the previous format was Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. This became weird because those games were on the 3DS. And during the time that the format stayed relevant, because the format stays relevant until the next main line series games release, meaning that you had Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon on the 3DS, and during that time that you were still expected to play those games on the 3DS, you had the Switch release, you had Pokemon Let's Go release, meaning that you had a new console and a new Pokemon game release, which just became sort of, obviously people would migrate towards that, and it became a weird situation where if you wanted to play competitive Pokemon ranked, you had to use a previous hardware on an older generation game. So yeah, I think a lot of people won't understand this. They'll just think, oh, that's fine, because these are faithful remakes, so they're just meant to have the Sinnoh mon anyway, so of course you're not going to do ranked there. And Legends Arceus seems to be a single player game, so of course I wouldn't have ranked battles. But it does come with these VGC specific issues that the general player base won't know about. Is it a huge detriment to the games, and will it kill VGC? Or will things be terrible until Generation 9 releases and we have a new format? I don't know. VGC did not die with the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon games, and if anything, it was revitalized hugely with Generation 8, with a streamlining a lot of things that were previously huge barriers of entry into competitive Pokemon battling. You also had a lot of, with this and with sort of the boom that Generation 8 brought, you also had a lot of YouTubers either come back to making content, or new YouTubers making content, such as WolfGlick, Moxie Boosted, and then new players such as K-Cray, Sierra Dawn, Joe UX9. You had loads of people come in, and it was really cool to see a VGC boom. Will this popularity and player base diminish over the next couple of years with the release of these games? Yes, I don't think you can deny that. But will it be the end for competitive Pokemon, for VGC, for these content creators? No, I don't think so. And I think, like Let's Go did have its own meta, but obviously it had its own online battles, but they weren't detrimental to any actual large events. They were just sort of a fun side thing. Will Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl have these? Yes. One thing that also needs to take into account is that these are confirmed to be working with Pokemon Home, and Generation 8 is the first Pokemon games, mainline games anyway, to have a DLC which added in more Pokemon and allowed those Pokemon into competitive straight away. So does this mean that, because for example there's quite a few Gen 4 Pokemon missing from Sword and Shield, so was this tactical, and that if you buy these you'll be able to use Pokemon Home to then bring them into Sword and Shield, or they will become legal so you can bring them up from previous games? Quite possibly. Which means that you're not entirely wasting money if you're just focusing on competitive battling and aren't sure whether you want to buy the new games. It seems a little bit scummy, but hopefully that will be the case, at least, so that there is some interaction between the newer games and Sword and Shield. Interesting thing comes with Legends Arceus. whether the new regional forms will be legal, or you'll be able to put them into Sword and Shield at all, because traditionally it has been a no, in that it's not part of the decks of the previous game, therefore you can't bring it in. But you can't bring new Pokemon down, but you can bring Pokemon up, kind of thing. So traditionally no. However, as it's a regional form, and particularly as it's Mon that we already have, like for example, Growlithe, this poses an interesting question in that Arcanine is used in VGC. Particularly within Series 10, it's actually used quite a lot because it's a very good Intimidate user. It can cycle out well, and it also has some interesting moveset ideas in that it can use like Snarl, it can be a special attacker, a mixed attacker, or a physical attacker, or you could go like entirely support and just have like a very bulky thing. So it would be interesting to see what happens then with the new form of Growlithe, if it does evolve, and then if it does, will that then be legal, and will people be able to use the regional form of Arcanine in series, I don't know, 15, series 14, 15 of the Generation 8 format. I think that kind of covers everything that I want to go through. Yeah. I think that sort of covers everything that I want to go to. So thank you, everyone. Hopefully be streaming shortly. The music throughout the stream was Pokemon Lo-Fi Remix by Glitch City. She's amazing. Check her Twitter out, check her Twitch out, check out her YouTube. She's just great. And yeah, that's it. Bye.